Hi, it's Paulie here. So, I was looking at World War II miniatures rules. Now, I got shown a great set of rules, which is I Ain't Half Been Shot, Mum. Now, this is done by a British group called Two Fat Lardies. They are great rule designers, and they have some really innovative games. I'll do another couple of theirs soon because they've got some stuff that really breaks the boundaries. I Ain't Half Been Shot, Mum, however, is a really, really good company level World War II miniatures game. So, company level is kind of neat. You don't need that many figures to play. In fact, many of us probably started playing miniatures at this kind of level. A few dozen miniatures, you know, couple of plastic tanks, a couple of Matchbox Jeeps, you know, you're going well. So it's got enough of a scale to it so that you've got, you know, the ability to use some equipment and do things. I Ain't Half Been Shot, Mum. Great. Okay, very, very British. If you're an American player, don't be too confused. But what I like about these rules is that they are tailor-makeable to the scenario and to the group, and you can kind of really make this game your own. So the core mechanism is a deck of cards, special cards that you've made. Each weapon team, each rifle squad, each vehicle, and each what they call big man, each leader style character that you've got has a card in this deck. There are also decks, you modify them depending on the scenario and special things according to, you know, the equipment and the troops. They've got lots and lots of suggestions for these. So I've got lots of Russian conscript troops. All right, these guys aren't very good, so you can put some extra cards in there, which is for confusion and hesitancy. But these guys are also like, they've got KGB with them. All right, well, KGB gets some extra cards for whipping these guys up into frenzy and extra movements. This particular weapon is very unreliable. We put a card in there that says this weapon, you know, has now broken down and needs some actions to repair it. These sorts of things, and you can tailor make stuff for your specific scenario. Like now, there's a card that says that you know, radio communications are breaking down. You know, if you're doing a longest day thing and no one's damn radio works, or Market Garden where none of the airborne's actual radios seem to work that particular day. You put these kind of little breakdown things in there, or you're suddenly getting support, etc. Into that deck, there does go a card which is tea break. The cards are shuffled. Now, when it's a turn, you turn over the top card, and whichever side's unit or person that is, they then get to do their actions. But when it gets to tea break, the whole turn as it is over. Cards are brought in, reshuffled, whatever kind of admin has to be done is done. So you might not get to move everything in your entire force. It's going to shuffle around a little bit. So that's your fog of war, that's your uncertainty. I like that. Now, each individual, say squad and so on, can go there and do its actions, but the big men, what they can do is they get their own actions. They can move and join a squad or whatever, and they can activate that squad so that it can do stuff. They can also do expected things like rallying units and these sorts of things. And what they can also do, they're very good for like spotting and so on. So they're not really guys that run out there and shoot stuff, they assist everything else to run. When a unit gets to do its activation, it gets a certain number of actions that it can do. And this comes from what sort of training it's got. Poorly trained troops only get a few actions. Highly trained troops get a lot of actions. But it also comes down to how large the unit is that you are using. So if it's a full rifle team, you'll get a certain set of actions, but if it's taken casualties, if it's lost people, it can do less. Great. Actions, of course, are things like spotting, moving, firing, breaking down equipment, like if there's things that you actually have to like take apart, And for things like vehicles and so on, there's also some other special things you do. But in essence, you're going to be moving, spotting, firing. You can't fire at something unless it's been spotted. You can spend extra actions on doing something and gets you a bonus. So if you've got 3 actions coming to a unit, all right, you can spot, determine to see if you spot it. Okay, you do. Your next thing is, I'm going to spend 2 actions firing at it. You're only kind of rolling dice once, but you're getting a bonus because you're putting extra actions into. So pretty simple. Now, the one bit of kind of complication, I guess, to this is that there is a chart that you'll have to look at. Yes, we're going to break your hearts and make you look at a single page chart. And what that is when things fire, they roll dice. You add all those dice together and you look at this little chart, and given the strength of the unit firing and what you've rolled, it will tell you what the damage is you've done to the target. I don't think that's too much of an ask, to be honest, because they've made firing and everything so easy. All they've done is they said there's 3 different kind of streams. It's a clear shot, it's a difficult shot, it's a really hard shot. That's all. You just make the call. And they've got the examples. These guys are, and it's broken into range bands. So there's basically a kind of a short, medium, long band for everyone, like out to 6 inches, out to like 12 inches, out to 2 feet sort of thing. So easy shot. Well, these are guys crossing an open field. Easy shot, all right. What are they? Infantry, easy shot, and they're 18 inches away. Good, easy shot at the 18-inch band. There you go. What are these guys? Well, these guys are they've taken an action to essentially keep to cover. So that always makes it one harder to get them. So they're in the open, but it's a difficult shot because they're down amongst the furrows and they're crawling through the weeds. Or these guys are running, but they're running through tall bushes and so on. All right, well, they're partially covered, so that's a difficult shot. These guys are in cover behind walls, or they're firing from a firing slit in a bunker or something. All right, that's a difficult shot. So really easy. I really like that. Now, the main mechanism and the morale mechanism and everything, it all comes from the firing tables. The mechanism is shock. So when you roll your damage on something, you do put casualties onto people, but what's more likely to happen is that you'll put shock onto a unit. And shock is basically near misses, people wounded, and general psychological stress. As a unit takes shock, it loses actions. The number of actions it gets, you reduce the number of actions by the amount of shock it's got. So what you can do is you can even fire at something that you haven't got much of a chance of hitting. Like these guys are all behind a wall or something. You can fire at them, essentially suppressive fire. You're just trying to put shock on them and stop them from getting actions in return. So you're actually doing suppressive fire. Love it, love it, love it. Another thing that you can get as you're rolling on someone is pinned. Pinned is slightly worse than shock. They not only are their actions reduced, but they can't move. They have to stay down in cover. As a natural consequence, at the end of a turn, pinned becomes shock, and shock begins to come off a unit as it sits there and slowly recovers. If it's not taking fire, they will get their second wind back and go in. Big men and so on can of course come in and try and rally them and get rid of the shock. So it's a really nice system. It administers itself really well. It's so easy to come up with how difficult these shots are and what range bands they are. Great stuff. Vehicles, yes, you can fire direct fire at vehicles, obviously, and indirect fire at vehicles. There's penetration and all the things that we would expect. Vehicles and groups of infantry that are like in a unit, they can kind of club together and do group moves. They can agree to go together as a group when they move. All movement is done randomly. A move action gets you a dice roll of movement. So it is kind of random as to how far you go, and you have to kind of pre-commit. So it's like, all right, I'm going to spend 2 movement points to cross this area. So if you're running across the open trying to reach the house, you might not make it if you push it, you know, too far, or you don't put enough actions into moving. So, you know, you've got to be a bit careful. I like this a lot. It's a really nice game. You can get special things for the leaders. You can get special abilities that you can pick from. You can also get special things from that you can add to the troops. So if your guys are particularly fit, they get bonuses for moving fast. A lot of special forces who are highly trained. You can get some others that are, you know, marksmen. You can get some others that are really hardened to the shock and they ignore some of its effects. All of this is written in here as guidelines. You can add these in. You can build Supermen. You can put lots of bonuses onto one big man and he can run around and he can be a total hero if you must. Great idea. But there are suggestions here for making your own. Make the game your own. And they're very clear with those deck of cards. Tailor make this to make your game. If you want something that feels this way, do it. If you want to play its Russian campaign and you think that this is Stalingrad and you want brutal hand-to-hand combat and whatever, okay, I'm going to put a Meshuggah card in there where groups can wail into each other with a close combat bonus if you turn that over. I want to encourage people to go in there and you know, fight there with a sharpened shovels, whatever. Do it. That's the feel you want from that game. So whereas a lot of games, particularly ones that are designed for this horrible kind of competition mentality, have such rigid setups and so on, this isn't. This is clearly designed by social gamers for social gaming, and it's good. It's a great laugh. There's some really strange, cute little rules in there. Lucky 17. If you roll your fire dice and your total is 17, you get an extra bonus. Why? Because 17 was Churchill's favourite number at roulette, of course. There's just all these little strange things perk up in there. And a lot of the nomenclature is very, very British. It's brew-ups when as vehicles explode. There's tea breaks. Big men, all this sort of thing. You'll get it. You'll get it. This design group are rather brilliant. This stuff's always done with a layer of humour to it, but they're good games, and this is a really good game. If you were looking for a company level World War II game, do it. Get this. Take a look. Now, the core game is set up for essentially Normandy. It's got all of the troops and all of the weapons and all the things that you need for Normandy, but they've got supplemental material for other theatres and other years, so you know they cover it. If you want to do North Africa or you're feeling very Russian fronty today, you can do it. So well supported, great guys, and these guys are sort of available online, so if you've got questions and things you can always just ask them. So anyway, yeah, I've been shot, mum. A great piece of work. Go and check it out. Cheers. If you like the videos, yay, like, subscribe, find me on Patreon.